Hi, and welcome to the general love reading for Friday, January 4th, 2019. All right, so this is the first love reading of the year. And what I do with the general love readings is that we have 6 piles of cards, and we're looking at these to just see the general dynamics, the general energy, what to expect for the next 7 days, okay? So we're only looking at the next 7 days for your love life, okay? And this can apply to a crush, to somebody who you just started dating, to a partner, to a life partner. But it's generally, it's the topic is love, so it's going to be love related, okay? Also, these readings are timeless, so if you have stumbled upon this particular reading, but it's not January 4th or the week of January 4th, go ahead and keep watching. There might be some wisdom here for you, okay? Alrighty, so let me go ahead and pick out which piles are which. Number 1 is the white Opalite. Number 2 is the blue Lapis Lazuli. Number 3 is the purple Fluorite. Number 4 is the black Obsidian. Number 5 is the grayish red Bloodstone. And number 6 is the pink rose quartz, okay? So as you are picking which one of these piles that you're going to be using for your reading, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know my information is in the description. This is anything that has to do with a private reading, getting a hold of me, my contact information, and timestamps and all of that good stuff. Okay, guys? So I had somebody leave a comment talking about my wait period. I went ahead and looked at how far I'm booked out and all of that, and I have shortened my wait period to 4 to 7 days. I had elongated it to 5 to 10. So just letting you know that the wait period is a little bit shorter now. It's 4 to 7, and then with the priority readings, that's within 48 hours. Okay. Alrighty. So that said, we're gonna go ahead and get started on this reading. Okay. So we're gonna be starting with number 1. The white opalite, okay? And we're going to go ahead and move some of these a little bit out of the way so that we have enough room to really examine all of these cards. All right. So those of you who picked pile number 1. So right now you guys are going through some kind of change that's going to really make things better for the two of you, okay? And we've got the alchemist right now. So this is about somebody who is like a catalyst for change. Okay, so in your love life right now, one of you is a catalyst for change, and I'm getting that it's for my viewers, like 60% of you guys, it's going to be the other person, the person you have in your heart right now, the person you're thinking about, and for the rest of you, it's going to be you. You're going to be the catalyst. Okay. And let's see what's going on here, though. Okay, we've got the tower. Okay, so this is a big change. Okay, this is a big change. Now, one thing about the tower is that when we have tower moments, they're generally thought of as negative experiences, and that's not the case, necessarily. For example, I had a tower moment when me and my partner moved from our old house, where we had been for, I want to say 10 years, to our new house, which is basically my dream house, okay? So it was a tower moment because I was going through a huge change. I was definitely improving where I was going to live. I went from the suburbs to out in the country, and for me, that's good. And, and I've got all of this space and all of this land and all of this great stuff that I've wanted, and we have an extra bedroom and all of that good stuff, but it's like it was still really stressful because it was a big change. So when we talk about somebody that's a catalyst for change, then we've got this change happening. This is going to be a big week for you guys because these changes are going to be, they're a bigger thing than just, just to extend the metaphor, it's not like I was leaving my house to go move into a hotel for the night. It was like I was leaving my house to go move into a new house, So it's like it's bigger than just something kind of small. So this is going to be a big week for you guys. We also have the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords is especially talking about illusions. A lot of people associate the moon with illusions, and I get that and I understand it. But with the moon, it's like it's not really illusions like, because with the moon, there actually is something there that's being hidden, right? But with the Nine of Swords, it's like getting worried over, not necessarily nothing, but it's getting worried over catastrophizing. It's like you're taking something and you're making it worse than what it is. So I feel like the stress that's generated from these changes that are going on, and just remember, change is stress. That's it. That's the definition of stress, is change. You know, the anxiety, you'll notice that you might feel like thinking negatively about it, and you know, that's okay. I can't stop you, but that's not actually a representative of what's going on in reality, because what's going on in reality, you guys are, this is the Ten of Cups. This is like where you end up where you want to be in your relationship, okay? In this particular deck, the white and the black cat are the lovers. That's what they show up in this particular deck as. So we've got the lovers and they're together and it's like this rainbow, and we've got the cups out, and we've got all of these, you know, we've got kittens, and we've got, you know, I mean, they have a family together, and they're, you know, they're clearly, you know, very, you know, they're very attracted to each other. They love each other and all of this kind of stuff. So what you're going through right now, just know is going to end up being for the better for the two of you. Anything that's changing this week isn't going to be like an ultimate change that means that you guys aren't going to be together, okay? Because this is, you guys are sticking around for one another, all right? So your Lenormand is like, we've got some kind of institution. So we've got like a school or a corporation. This could also stand for like maybe the government. And then we've got that's kind of feeling like a burden right now, okay? So maybe one of you is going to school, or both of you, or maybe one of you is going to church while the other one isn't, or you know, there's something about going to like a public place, like an institution, that's going to be a little bit stressful for the two of you as well. So we do have a lot of stress this week, and you know, I hate that, but just really keep your mind on the fact that this isn't going to break you up. You guys are going to stick together. You guys, there's still a lot of potential there, and you know, it's just, this is going to be a kind of a rough week for the two of you. And then the last two cards, we've got allowance, okay? So it's like, this is kind of like going with the flow. It's like being open to whatever happens and being able to kind of just allow that to happen, okay? Understand that sometimes when we're really stressed, we don't really feel like we have control over our lives, and that feels like saying, oh, I feel like I don't have any control. It's like that feels like a huge statement to make, but most of the time in our lives, we don't have a whole lot of control over it. We can control ourselves, we can control our environment, and all of that kind of stuff. And that really is a heavy bit of control. So I'm not trying to say that we have no control, but when it comes to a lot of the external, you know, a lot of the external forces that happen to us, this is just kind of like the universe throwing things at us, you know, and you know, things like what's going on here with all of this change and all of this stress, the control that you do have is that you can manage it, but you know, sometimes you just have to let it happen. Just be like, okay, I give up. I'm going to just let this happen. And I don't mean give up like I'm not going to deal with this anymore, but just give up trying to control it, because it's going to happen no matter what. And then we have, this is an interesting one, it's Cosmic Flower. It's kind of a weird combination of words, but what it means is that it's like remember that you know, the core of what we're talking about is a relationship, okay? And this right here, okay, this is home for you, okay? Your relationship. This is the end point here, is that the two of you coming together, the two of you planning some kind of future together, and all of that good stuff, all right? So when we're talking about you know, all of this kind of chaos and stress and just having to just let it happen, you know, and all of that kind of stuff, which doesn't sound very fun. The bottom line here is that the two of you are going to stay together. So just remember that, okay? Just remember that the two of you are moving towards one another. If you're already together, you're going to stay together. If you're not together yet, you're still moving towards one another, okay? This feels like, you know, when you've got the Ten of Cups coming up, we know that this is going to be successful, okay? So keep that in mind. looks stressful. You can always check back next Friday to see, you know, how that evolves. Okay, those of you who are from pile 2, we've got the blue Lapis Lazuli. Okay, so we have a lot of like really lighthearted feelings this week for you. We start off with the Fool, okay, and the Fool's like, you know, the Fool's got this idea of the way that he or she wants the world to be, you know, and the Fool's like, okay, I'm really positive, I believe in myself, and I'm gonna really just kind of take this risk, you know. So that's good when you have that in a relationship, that energy, because it's like both of you are willing to try to do basically whatever it takes to make this work. Okay, so you guys both have a really positive attitude right now. And you have an idea of where you want to go to. So it's, you know, sometimes, you know, you can have two people that really want to be with each other and they like each other and everything, but they have no idea how to start it, right? They have no idea, you know, what comes next. And because of that, things can get kind of blocked and all of that. It's like you guys both have an idea of what you want to come next, and you're going to work to create that. And we've got the Strength card here. And a lot of people associate this with, you know, not using brute force, but instead being very gentle when one is trying to apply their, I suppose their persuasion. This is also kind of like a metaphor for being able to tame, I guess, the id impulses or the shadow impulses inside of us, the stuff that we want to kind of push down and not think about. You know, this would be things like things that are socially taboo, things that are maybe, you know, like ideas that you're not really comfortable with that you have, and that kind of thing. One thing about the Strength card that isn't mentioned as much is that in order for this, in this case, we've got a cat and a dog, but in order for the character to be able to tame the beast that's being tamed in the Strength card, the character they have to come to some kind of understanding, okay? So I think that that's another thing that's going to be going on between you and your person, is that you're going to be coming to some kind of understanding with one another, okay? And then we've got some hard work here. Since we're talking about a relationship, I really feel like this is both of you working really hard on your relationship, you know, and getting those rewards for it. But I think that for some of you, this also might have to do with just you know, just general feeling that maybe one of you is like one of you is like gonna have to go back to work, for example, or one of you is working really hard at, you know, when it comes to work or maybe school. So one of you might be kind of busy this week, but at the same time you're still coming together and you're still reaching some kind of understanding. So this would definitely be a good key time for communication. All right, we have like kind of this sense of renewed hope with the Star, okay, and with the Star that also comes vulnerability, okay, so keep that in mind as well. But you can't be in this Fool energy where you're willing to take some risks and everything without being vulnerable. You know, that's kind of what happens in a relationship. So, you know, keep in mind that that's appropriate, you know. One of you is going to receive a letter. I feel like it's from an ex, and it would be a letter or an email or a text. It would be like some kind of just written message that's given you that way, okay? So, you know, maybe some of you is going to get a physical letter, but it's like I feel like you're going to hear from somebody, and it's like I feel like they're going to be trying to give you a choice, like trying to lure you away, like, you know, hey, you could be with me if you want to, and all of that kind of stuff. You know, ultimately it's going to be up to you, what you decide. This ex actually might end up being the person that we're talking about, okay? You know, if you have an ex in your mind that you're thinking about, okay? But if you don't have an ex in your mind that you're thinking about, if this is somebody new or somebody who you're definitely, you know, together with, and you know, it's not a past thing, it's like really it's happening in the now, just know that this kind of energy is going to be coming up, and you know, just, you know, you can pick whatever you want, but it really feels like it's not going, you know, this isn't really something that's going to distract you from this relationship, because this relationship right here is really, really strong. We've got the Star, the Fool, and Strength, which are our major arcana cards, which lets us know that this is going to be where you want to focus. So for the last two cards, we have Compassion, okay? So, you know, this is kind of like being able to really accept somebody for who they are. I think that in your relationship, you just want that person to be themselves, because that's who you want to be with. You want to be with them. You don't want to be with some kind of pretend them, right? So just make sure that you're being, you know, that you're showing them that you like them, and give them that positive feedback for what they're doing, you know, what you like that they're doing in your relationship. And then, we've got Fertility, so that of course could mean certain things as far as you know, physical and medical, you know, things, but I'm not really supposed to give medical advice, so I can't really say more than that. But what I can say is that you know, fertility can mean a whole lot of things, okay? And one of the things that I think that this means in this particular situation is that it's like fertile ground right now. You can plant some seeds, you can set some intentions, and they will come to fruition. So right now, just know to be very, very open. And allow your person to plant seeds, you know, like plant ideas for you, and you know, and thoughts, you know, really consider what they're saying to you, because you guys are feeding one another. And you know, you'll find that if you want your person to really consider something from your point of view this week, those of you who picked this pile, then all you have to do is just kind of mention it to them, because it just feels like both of you are really receptive to one another. And so I think that when we talk about fertility, it's also about being able to just kind of make an impression, you know, make a lasting impression on that person. So definitely keep that in mind too, you know, but, you know, obviously fertility is also associated with reproduction, and that's about all I can say about it without, you know, getting into a subject that I'm not supposed to talk about. But it's like, you know, do keep that in mind too. I don't feel like that applies to all of you at all. I feel like maybe 15% of you just know that, you know, that's going on. And if you don't want something like that to happen, then go ahead and protect yourselves from that. So anyway. Okay, so those of you who picked pile number 3, the purple fluorite heart, let's go ahead and see what's going to be going on between you and your person this week. This is kind of interesting, okay? Because we had the strength card show up in the Tarot Pig and Cats in the last pile. And now strength is showing up in the Art of Love Tarot in this one, okay? So strength is going to be a bigger theme for you, though, because I only picked one card because I wanted to make sure that I had some, like, major themes going on. So one thing that I think is kind of interesting about the strength card is that when you see it, usually there is a figure in it and a beast in it. In the Tarot Pig and Cats, it's a cat with a dog, okay? And in most of them, it's a maiden with some kind, you know, like a lion or a tiger. In one of them, I've seen a boar, okay? And it's like they have come to the point where they are able to master the animal without using brute force, you know? And so what's happened is they've come to an understanding, right? So for this, we've got force as being, you know, part of being strength. But I think that it also has to do with it, you and that which you are affecting, or coming to an understanding with one another about where each person's place is in the relationship. So I really feel like in your relationship this week, one of the biggest themes is going to be about you know, who does what, you know, who basically things like who's the leader and who's the follower, or are we going to be on equal ground, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, we also have a time for kind of rest. And you might notice that your person needs a little bit more time by themselves to kind of just mull over things. Maybe they're just tired and they want to take naps more, you know, that kind of thing. But just kind of keep that in mind, because it's really not personal. It's about them. It's not about you. we do have the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Coins. So I feel like in this relationship, it's going to either be really, really abundant this week, or you guys are going to be enjoying some like financial relaxation. So maybe you are either going to get some more money, or maybe you're just enjoying that you're able to spend some quality time with one another without worrying about money, or maybe you're in a situation where somebody else is paying for the two of you to do something, that kind of thing. It's like there's abundance, there's material gain, that kind of stuff. So, but this is about a relationship. This isn't a general, this is about a general love relationship. So this is between you and your person. There's going to be abundance there. Positivity. And then again, we've got this card that's like, lets us know that there's going to be some periods where you and your person are going to kind of be spending time apart, because it's like both of you kind of, I really feel like it's more your person than you, that they like need some time to kind of rest and think over things and all of that kind of stuff. I really feel like it's because you guys have a lot going on and you're kind of juggling things, and this is obviously, this is obviously a card that's about juggling things and about trying to keep up with multiple things and all of that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that it would be a restive period of time. This also shows an ocean with boats in it. So I do want to mention the long distance thing. But at the same time, with this, like, enjoying this, like, wealth or enjoying some kind of material gains, it might just be that you're traveling together. And then another thing here is that I feel like the two of you have to kind of come together and come up with some kind of strategy for the future. So I think that's kind of also kind of like a little thing that's going on here. It's like planning ahead. And that kind of thing. But I feel like that's more towards the very end of the week, okay? So just keep that in mind. There's some kind of like strategy that needs to happen. So, we have the boats. We also have the storks, and this means movement, okay? There's movement, okay? When we've got the fox here, we're moving away from like deception. We're moving away from something that, it's like you're moving on from something that was like maybe there was a lie that was told. Maybe there was some kind of deception that happened. I'm sorry, I have a little device here that's helping my back feel better, and it just shut off, and I want to turn it back on because I'm having some lower back pain here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so you're moving away from deception. It's like you're moving away from something that, like, somebody hasn't been completely honest with you, and as a result of that, it's like you guys were stuck there. You guys were stuck about this, but now you're moving on. It's just not affecting you as much anymore. It's like you've moved past it and all of that. So if there's something, it could have been a deception in the relationship. That happens. Or it could have been somebody that was like affecting a relationship because they were being deceitful with you. Whatever it was, okay. That's in the past. You guys are going to be moving forward. It's been taken care of. It's moved from a point where it has really been affecting the relationship to a point where you guys are a lot more calm. You have more ideas of how to move forward, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind, that any kind of anxiety about that past stuff is it's just coming from that fear, okay? It's not coming from anything that's actually happening in reality. And then we've got the throat chakra, which makes sense because we've got peace and balance here, but we also have self-expression, okay? We have expression, we have truth, we have also the sharing of ideas. So the throat chakra really kind of helps offset the fox card, which tends to stand for deception. Because, we are seeing things as true. And then we've got, we also have consciousness, which is like just being aware of what is true, being aware of what is there and what isn't. And I think that one level of consciousness is that awareness, yes, but I think that another layer of consciousness is also being aware of the layers in a situation. So I think that being able to see not just, for example, a person's behavior, but also maybe their motivations, as well as like what they're trying to achieve, what's pushing them to it, and then what's pulling them towards it, you know? So like, let's say somebody is motivated to learn how to play guitar, okay? What's pushing them to it, to play guitar, is that they want to impress a girl. They heard that this awesome girl really loves rock stars, and so they want to be a rock star. So the push is to impress the girl, okay? And then the pull is so that he can be with the girl. So the girl wants to hang out with him and spend some time with him. You know, I know it's kind of a silly metaphor, but that's what I'm talking about when I say multi-dimensions of a person's behavior, you know. There's going to be an incentive. There's some kind of reward that they're going towards, but there's also something they're trying to get away from too. They want to feel like they're capable and all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes when I start talking like this, I feel like maybe I'm getting off topic, but I really do feel that this is going to have something to do with your understanding of each other in the relationship this week. So, you know, try to be really aware that your person is a multifaceted human being, and what they're doing with their behavior is not just coming from like a single-minded, one-sided, way of looking at it. There's a lot of things going on there, okay? All right, so I really want to emphasize that consciousness, though, okay? All right, those of you who picked the Black Obsidian, here is what's going on for you in your relationship this week, okay? So this is what, this is what all is going on with you and the person that you're thinking about, okay? We've got surrender, the Ten of Angels. This is going to be kind of like the theme right now, and that's kind of like letting things happen as they will. Sometimes we really try to control a situation, and, because it's really overwhelming us. And it's getting to a point where, oh my gosh, I have to do something. This is actually a time where you don't necessarily have to do as much as you have to just allow it to happen, okay? I'm going to take a sip from my water here. Okay, thank you so much for bearing with me. Yeah, so this is a period of time right now where you've got to just really let things happen the way that they're going to happen, and kind of step back and allow that to happen, so that then you can kind of see what's gonna, see where things fall, so that then you can take action. So I kind of get this feeling that this week, it's like you're gonna want to take action, but it's not quite the right time. Okay, so be aware of that timing. We also have the Four of Coins. Now, we're talking about a relationship. We're not talking about, something in general. We're not talking about, well, how are your finances or whatever. The Four of Coins traditionally means, kind of hoarding or holding on to what we have and not wanting to let it go. In a romantic, spread, or in a romantic situation, the Four of Coins has more to do with maybe some jealousy. We also have some, like not wanting to let something go. Now, it's interesting that we have this card come up with alongside the surrender card too. So in, there are some things this week that you do have to let go of, just to allow it to happen. Allow the things that you can't control to happen. But this is also counseling you to pick the things that you can control and hold on to those things, okay? But also understand that when you get greedy, when you get like, when you feel that need to hold on really, really tightly, that can also cause you to feel tense and, like I said, kind of jealous sometimes. Jealousy is kind of a weird thing, because it's almost like it's a pointless feeling, but at the same time, it comes from a point of fear and all of that kind of stuff. So if you start to feel that way, immediately say, okay, stop. What am I afraid of? Because usually there's something that you're afraid of, and that's what's causing your jealousy, and then deal with that, So let's say that I'm jealous because my partner's petting my cat, and she's my cat, and I don't want him to touch her. I want to touch her. I want to be the one that pets her, so that she knows that she's mine. It's like I have to be like, okay, stop. Does my cat know that she's my cat and not his cat? And it's like, okay, well, My cat always ends up sitting on my lap when I am sitting in my reading chair. She always goes to bed next to me. She stays there, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, she does like her. She belongs to me, not him, you know. So, you know, it's like stuff like that. Just stop and be like, wait a minute, what am I afraid of? You know, I'm afraid that my cat's gonna like him better than me, you know, and it's kind of silly, but you know, you're able to kind of figure things out that way. We also have temperance, and this is kind of warning towards overindulgence, so I feel like this is just kind of modifying the Four of Coins. It's, you know, don't overdo it. You know, you've got this. This is all right. You also see, you know, we've got a cat that's letting a fish go in the water. Okay, so we're also seeing this kind of surrender energy as well. Okay, don't hold on too tight, and let go of the things that are appropriate to let go of, the things that we can't control. And then out here we've got the Three of Wands, and that's really interesting because I feel like the Three of Wands is like kind of just waiting for that moment where you're supposed to take action, you know? And I really feel like in this particular situation, you know, we've got the boats here and some water, and like so we've got this sense of depth of distance. You might notice that this week you guys aren't talking as much, or that the two of you aren't really connecting the way that you prefer to. It could be like a long distance thing, or it could be that one of you's out of town in a different like time zone, for example. So it's more difficult for the two of you to connect because of that. Just know that, you know, it's just a factor of what's going on right now in your relationship. It's not defining the relationship. It's just something that the two of you are going to need to kind of overcome and come to an understanding about. I don't feel like this is going to be something that's going to get in the way of your relationship, though. And I do feel like if for example this is a distance is created because the two of you aren't talking, it is going to get better, okay? So yeah, this is just for this week. Again, I just look at the energy for this week. Okay, and then this is kind of interesting because we have an ending and then we've got an anchor, okay? So we've got the ending and then we've got the water here again, and we've got like the imagery that has to do with a boat, okay? So it might just be also that by the end of the week, the two of you aren't going to be that distant anymore, okay? Those of you who are in a long distance relationship, this is going to be something else. This is going to be like, something's going to end that's going to make you feel a lot more secure, because we've got the anchor that's anchoring you down, okay? It's going to make you feel a lot more solid. Like there's going to be something that's like kind of manifesting in the physical world that helps you to feel like, okay, I got this. This relationship's good. It's on track, that kind of thing. But for those of you who are maybe not experiencing as much communication, or might feel some distance and it's more of the metaphorical sense rather than the literal, there's going to be an end to that. Okay. Excuse me, okay? So then, for our last two cards, we've got Realization and Dynamic. Okay, so with dynamics, it's like, just know, I mean, and this is like so overly simple, but sometimes we have to be reminded of the simple things. Just know you guys are two different people, and you bring your own energy, they bring theirs, and, you know, that's going to create some really interesting, you know, conflicts, and really interesting, you know, wow, I feel the same way, and stuff like that. You know, it's, you guys are going to be comparing and contrasting your energy. That's kind of what a relationship's about, right? So just be aware that you guys are two different people, and because of that, you're not always going to see eye to eye about everything, but at the same time, you guys are really good at getting along about it. So just really celebrate their own individuality, okay? And then we have Realization, okay? So it's like, with this particular card, with Realization, we're talking about the truth that has to do with what is true in this romantic relationship between the two of you, okay? And so I do feel another thing about this situation this week is that you guys are going to be really seeing the truth of how each other feels. So that's kind of an interesting, thing to see when you've got this kind of distance and maybe you're not communicating as well. Sometimes it's what we don't say that kind of gives us away a lot more than what we do, right? So I really feel like you guys are going to be getting really clear about how each other feels in this particular situation, okay, guys? So it does look like there's going to be a little bit of difficulty this week, but it's not like a big catastrophe or anything like that, and you're still moving towards the greater good. I don't see any kind of breakup or anything like that. This is still, you guys are still going to be together. You guys are still going to be working towards a relationship. Those of you who are out of contact, it's still working to get the two of you back together, okay? I'm not getting anything that's like really painful or anything this week, okay? Right. Okay, pile number 4, those of you who picked the Bloodstone. All right. You're going to have a lot of romance this week. Look at this. Oh my goodness. How perfect is this? So you've got the Lovers, we've got Romance, the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and then you've got the King of Wands. Okay, so the King of Wands is kind of a dramatic, like, declarative person who wants to, I think of kind of like an actor in a Shakespeare play who's just being very, like, going on a monologue and just really, expressing themselves in a very passionate way. So we've got passion, the ultimate passionate person with the king, who's at the very, very top of this suit. Then we've got the Two of Cups, which is, the card you want to get when you're doing a romantic relationship. And we've got the Lovers too. And then we've got Romance here with the Knight of Hearts, which would correspond to the Knight of Cups. Okay, who's, they're making an offer. They want, they're charming. They want you guys to be together. So this is going to be such a great week for you guys. It's so great. Wow. You guys are going to have a great week. This is going to be awesome. Okay, so, and then we've got the Ring and the Polar Bear. So this represents like a really strong person or a really strong situation. And then the Ring, obviously that can represent getting engaged or making a promise to be together, that kind of thing. But in this particular deck, it actually means more of like a contract. You're coming to an agreement. You're coming to some kind of understanding with one another. This could be about just defining the relationship. But yeah, you guys are very, very strong this week. A very strong presence, very strong energy between the two of you. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so I really feel like this is just going to be a really important week for you guys, okay? We also have conception. So this is like, I feel like when we talk about conception, okay, we talk about when something begins. And so I would say that those of you who aren't together with your person right now, this would be the week that it's going to happen, okay? That doesn't mean that it's definitely going to happen for 100% of you guys that pick this pile. It's just that some major beginnings are going to be happening between the two of you, okay? Something new is going to be happening between the two of you, okay? And those of you who have been together for a while, it's kind of like a renewal of that, okay? And then we've got the heart chakra, okay? So this is like you guys are open to loving completely and deeply. Look at all of these cards. We've got the Ring, we've got the Lovers, the Two of Cups, the King of Wands, the heart chakra, and Romance here, okay? So like the only cards in this whole spread that don't really have, that aren't really related to love and passion and that kind of stuff is conception and this bear, okay? But the bear mentions, this is strong, this is a big presence, this is important. And conception is talking about, like, there's going to be some new beginnings here. So this is great. I really don't even think that I need to say anything more other than you guys are going to be having a great week. This looks perfect, basically. I'd be very, very happy if I was the one to pick this one. Extremely happy. So you're all good. You're completely fine. All right, those of you who picked the pink rose quartz, let's go ahead and see what we have in store for you this week. Okay, so we've got some pretty, we've got some pretty positive stuff here. We've got the King of Hearts. Okay, so this is this is like kind of healing energy. This also has to do with people, people who are willing to kind of come forward and express themselves. Okay, in a very mature way too. So you might notice that the relationship kind of matures a little bit. We've got the Chariot, so that talks about moving forward. It also, for me in a relationship, it's, what I see. And I mean, talking to lots of different people about their love life and what's going on and everything. Something I see a lot, and what I've seen studying psychology as well, is that when people are trying to hold two dual ideas in their minds, they can't move. They're just kind of get stuck there. So we've got the penguin. The penguin. I was thinking about penguins earlier today. I apologize. I mean the peacock. And this one's, the one with the very beautiful colors, and then this one's like an albino one. So they're like kind of two dual. It's like yin and yang, right? And in other decks they're like white and black and that kind of thing, right? So we've got two opposing forces, but they're working together to move forward. So I tend to interpret this as the head and the heart, because boy, do the head and the heart want to work separately sometimes when we're talking about relationships. It's like the heart's like, ooh, I want to go forward, and I'm so in love and all of this stuff, and then the head's like, but wait, you're gonna get hurt. Oh no, this is terrible. We're suddenly staying up all night and we have to be with this person, and it's like, what's going on? You're acting crazy, So it's like, the reason I'm mentioning this is that it's like when we have the Chariot moment, it's like we're able to get the head and heart to completely be aligned, and because they're aligned, we can move forward with ease and acceptance. I think that this could either describe you or your person or both of you, okay? We also have some, kind of celebration. For me, I personally wouldn't like getting this card, but it's like, this is like going out, being able to kind of celebrate by kind of like leaving the house and like maybe going out to eat, maybe going to a party, that kind of thing. I personally would rather stay home. But this, I mean, it's a fun card. It's a good card. It's, you guys are feeling very festive and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun this week too. One thing though is that this balance here with the Chariot, okay, I really feel like this is going to be like kind of setting you up at the beginning of this week, which would make sense. The weekend tends to be the times that we have enough time to go out and that kind of stuff, but we still do have some overthinking involved. I feel like this is just one of you, not both of you, and I feel like it could go either way. It's either the viewer or your person, okay? So for some of you, it might be you one day and it might be them the other day. But just know that when you get stuck in that kind of overthinking place, it's like you create this this kind of web of thought that you get stuck in that is holding you back. So really remember that you've got, when you're in this point where you start overthinking things and maybe getting a little anxious, pull that down into your heart. And let your heart guide you when it comes to that, because this card is definitely telling you that you've got to look at it from multiple perspectives. Okay, we do have, this is kind of interesting. We've got some kind of mystery going on. Okay, the closed book represents a mystery. It also represents knowledge, but there's like some kind of confusion having to do with this mystery. I really feel like this is some kind of mystery in the relationship, and I feel like this is something that, given this energy, it's like you're finding out that your person is really vulnerable about something that you didn't know about before, and you'll be confused because it's like, wow, how did I not know that, or how did I not put that together, that kind of thing. So that's this is going to be a really interesting development this week. I do feel like it's going to remain a mystery for a little while. Generally it's like this is just, we're talking about just this week only. But with this, I don't see this being resolved this week. I see this as being resolved later on. So know that this is going to be something that's going to kind of pique your interest, get your curiosity up. I think that's really healthy in a relationship, but at the same time, I mean, I don't feel like it's like a secret. I feel like it's more like it's a vulnerability. It's something that they feel kind of uncomfortable talking about. And again, I'm really trying to feel out, I think that most of you, this is going to be your person. For a few of you, it's going to be you. And just know that whatever it is that you feel really vulnerable about, whatever it is that you feel like you just don't want them to know about that and everything, if you continue to keep that hidden, which is absolutely your right, okay? You don't have to tell, you don't have to reveal every single thing about yourself to your partner, especially, at different times, in different times of the relationship and everything. But if you keep that hidden, it's going to end up causing a lot of confusion for both of you. So just kind of keep in mind that, starting to open up a little bit about some of your secrets might help the relationship move forward a little bit, okay? And then we have Gaia, which is, earth energy. And this is just to remember that you guys are connected. You guys are connected through your shared humanity. You're connected through this planet and through your experiences. You both are having a human experience and all of that. So there's a lot more things that you have in common than you might think, okay? And then we have magic, which is really, it's really interesting because it's like, when you talk about magic, there's so many different ways of interpreting this card, really. But what I think about this when I think about it and as I'm looking at it is that I feel like it can be a really magical feeling when we get into a situation that as we move through it and we're moving forward, things suddenly become possible that we didn't think were possible. Or opportunities start opening up and it's like, wow, I can actually do this. It's kind of like that realization that things are possible. And I feel like that's kind of where you are in this relationship. This relationship is opening up your awareness that you can do more than you thought you could. So many things, like there's so many more things that are possible for you because you know this person and because this relationship exists, all right? So this kind of magic here, excuse me, it's just a really, it's a really strong, opening up of, wow, I can do just about anything. But it's not, it's like because of this relationship, but it's not just limited to the relationship. It's like being with this person this week, is just opening up opportunities for you that are going to be life-changing and great. So it's like you're more aware because you're in this relationship. So that's awesome. So you guys are going to have a pretty interesting week. I think that the low point is that there's going to be some kind of mystery, but it is going to like pique your interest. It's almost like it's energizing because you're going to want to figure it out. It's like you're going to be really intrigued. But you are moving forward. You're in a place where both of you are coming together. You're healing. You're expressing yourselves. You're going out. You're celebrating. Just try not to overthink. Everything's kind of coming together for you guys this week. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for staying till the end. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed this reading, please leave me some feedback letting me know. If you have any kind of ideas for a pick a card reading in the future, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I do read all the comments. I just can't respond personally to every single one of them. And I'm really excited about where this channel's heading for the next year. And I'll go ahead and see you the next time I post a video.